Let us move on to our lesson 2, which is the inverse of one-to-one function. Inverse is, in Tagalog, kabaliktaran. Okay, so here are our objectives. Okay, first, before we jump to our lesson proper, let us first review identifying if a function is linear, quadratic, or rational function. Okay, so then decide whether each is one-to-one or many-to-one. Okay, so for number 1, f of x is equal to 2x plus 5. So masabi natin na linear, okay, if wala siyang denominator. Okay, so linear nga. Okay, and ang degree niya ay, ang degree ni x ay just 1. Okay, so ang nakikita nating highest exponent dito sa number 1 is 1, no? So this is considered a linear function. Okay, and a linear function is always one-to-one. Okay po. So number 2, g of x is equal to 2x squared minus 4x plus 1. Okay, nakakita na tayo ng exponent na 2. So hindi na siya linear function agad. Okay? So quadratic ba or rational? So this is a quadratic function. Kasi po, ang degree ng ating function ay 2 and wala naman tayong nakita na denominator. Okay? So this is a many-to-one function. A quadratic function is always many-to-one, while yung linear is always one-to-one. So for number 3, h of x equal to x minus 1 squared minus 1/2. Okay, nakakita na naman tayo, no, ng squared or 2 sa exponent. Thus, this is considered a quadratic function. Now, again, a quadratic function is always many-to-one. Okay, so number 4, f of x is equal to 2x minus 1 over x plus 5. Okay, may nakita na tayo sa denominator. Meron na siyang denominator, which is x plus 5. Thus, this is already a rational function. Okay, so a rational function is always one-to-one. Okay po. So number 5, g of x is equal to x. So 1 ang degree, tapos wala naman tayo nakitang denominator niya. So this is a linear function and this is considered one-to-one. Okay? So masabi rin natin na one-to-one or many-to-one if for example mag-substitute tayo ng kahit anong gusto nyong value kay x. Okay? For example sa number 2 natin. So substitute natin g of -1. So ang answer is 2 times -1 squared minus 4 times -1 plus 1. So answer natin is 2 times 1 is 2 minus 4 times -1 is -4. So double negative. Thus magiging positive 4 then plus 1. Okay. So 2 plus 4 is 6 plus 1 that is 7. Okay? So pag sinubstitute ko g of 1 or 1 yung sinubstitute ko kay x, so that is 2 times 1 squared minus 4 times 1 plus 1 is equal to, so same lang, no? 2 times 1 squared, that is still 2 minus 4. Okay? Times 1 plus 1, that is 2 minus 4, that's negative 2. Okay, negative 2 plus 1 is negative 1. But what if ang sinubstitute natin ay, for example, substitute naman natin 0 at saka 2. So, tingnan natin kung anong magiging sagot. So, g of 2 is equal to 2 times 2 squared minus 4 times 2 plus 1. So, it is equal to 2 times 2 squared is 4 minus 4 times 2 is 8 plus 1. So, that is 8 minus 8 plus 1. So, ang answer natin ay 1. So, what if g of 0? Okay, substitute natin. 2 times 0 squared g of 0. So 2 times 0 squared minus 4 times 0 plus 1. So, pansin natin, 0 squared times 2, 0 na yan. 4 times 0 is 0 din. So, ang natira ay C1. Okay? So, for x values of 0 and 2, so nag-share sila ng the same y value, which is 1. Okay? So, thus, this is considered a many-to-one function, yung number 2. Okay? So, now, what is a inverse function? So, the inverse of a function is a function with domain B and range A given that the original function has domain A and range B. So, nagpalit yung kanilang domain and range. And the inverse function of function f is denoted by f raised to negative 1. Okay, so ganito po ang pagsulat ng inverse function. So, it is defined by the equation f raised to negative 1 of x is equal to x if and only if f of x is equal to y for any y in range b. So since both are functions, then a function has to be one-to-one for its inverse to be a function at the same time. Okay, so if it is a many-to-one function, its inverse is one-to-many, which is not a function. So ang sinasabi lang dito, okay, so para magkaroon ng inverse function ng isang function, dapat siya ay one-to-one function. Okay? So how to find the inverse of one-to-one function? So bear in mind that a function must be one-to-one to have an inverse. Okay? So example number 1. Given f of x is equal to 3x minus 8, the inverse of a function may be solved intuitively. Okay? So paano po 'yun? babaliktarin lang natin yung mga operations. Okay, so ang sinasabi dito, pwede natin by mental lang, no? Yung makukuha natin yung inverse function. Okay, the last operation performed is subtraction. The inverse operation of which is addition. So to x, add 8. So kung nakita natin, no? 3x minus 8. Okay, nag-minus yung tayo dito. So gagawin natin yung addition. So x plus 8. Now, the second to the last operation performed is multiplication. So, nag-multiply din siya kay 3. No? So, from the rightmost part of our function, so that is subtraction. No? Nakakita tayo ng minus sign. Ginawa nating add. Then, punta tayo dito. We have 3 times x, which is multiplication. So, ang inverse ng operation ng multiplication ay division. Thus, we will divide yung buong yon kay 3. And equate, okay? Huwag kalimutan yung denoted or how we denote yung inverse function, f raised to negative 1 of x. Okay? To denote that this x plus 8 over 3 is an inverse of 3x minus 8. Okay? So this is our final answer. Now, another steps or other methods of finding the inverse function. Okay, A, express the function in the form y is equal to f of x. Papalitan lang natin si f of x ng y. And then interchange yung y and x in the question. And solve for y in terms of x. So, ihiwalay daw natin si y. Okay, now, consider this. G of x is equal to x squared minus 6x minus 7. Okay, so nakakita tayo ng degree which is 2. X squared daw siya. Okay, so is this a linear or a quadratic function? So this is already a quadratic function which is not one-to-one. Okay, so since this is a parabola, no? So kita natin, hindi siya papasa sa horizontal line test natin. Okay? So, iyan. Kahit i-move natin, no? So, dalawa yung nai-intersect niya lagi sa graph. So, thus, this is not a one-to-one function. So, wala po siyang inverse. So, simply put, it has no inverse function. So, yun na po yung sagot. It has no inverse function. Okay, this is an alternate solution kung bakit nasabing hindi po or walang inverse function yung given. So, y is equal to x squared minus 6x minus 7. Okay, pinalitan ng y yung g of x. And then pinagpalit. Napansin natin. Lahat ng y naging x, lahat ng x naging y. And then, ihiwalay natin si y. So, lipat natin sa parehas na side, lahat ng y. And then, lahat ng walang y or lahat ng hindi y ay nilipat din natin sa kabila. So, ang mangyayari, kakaroon tayo dito sa side na to ng y squared minus 6y is equal to x plus 7. Okay? So, by completing the square, Para mahiwalay natin si y, completing the square, y squared minus 6y plus 9. So, kinomplete natin, no? So, nagdagdag tayo sa other side ng 9, magdadagdag din tayo sa other side. So, now, y minus 3 squared. Okay, galing po yan sa y squared minus 6y plus 9 is equal to x plus 16. Okay, so now, para mahiwalay ulit natin, square root natin both sides. Square root, then square root. So, na-cancel yung squared dito sa kabilang side. Ang natira ay y minus 3. Pero nagkaroon ng square root yung kabilang side ng equation. Thus, y minus 3 is equal to positive negative square root of x plus 16. Pansinin natin lagi kapag nag-i-square root tayo, kakaroon tayo ng positive negative. Okay? So final will be y is equal to positive negative square root of x plus 16 plus 3. Okay? So pansinin natin, no? Notice for some values of x, there are two values of y. For instance, let's have x equal to 1. No? Substitute natin, x is equal to 1. So my answer na, y is equal to square root of 17 plus 3 and negative square root of 17 plus 3. Therefore, the inverse function of g of x does not exist. Okay? So, may dalawang partner si x. So, thus, hindi na siya function. Okay? So, now, example 3, find the inverse of the rational function h of x is equal to 4x plus 8 over x minus 3. Okay? Solution, palitan si h of x ng y. Okay? Palitan ng y. So, y is equal to 4x plus 8 over x minus 3 na. Next, pagpalitin natin si x tsaka si y. Yung y magiging x, yung x magiging y. So, mangyari, x is equal to 4y plus 8 over y minus 3. Okay? Para makuha natin si y or mahiwalay natin, multiply natin yung denominator kay x. So, buong yan. So, x times y is xy minus x times 3 is 3x. Okay, tapos nawala na yung denominator para mas madali din nating masolve is equal to 4y plus 8. And then, transpose, no? So, pagsamahin natin lahat ng may y kasi yun yung gusto kong ihiwalay, yung y. So, xy minus 4y is equal to 3x plus 8. So, factoring out y, nilabas ko yung y. So, ang nasa loob na ng quantity or parenthesis is x minus 4 is equal to 3x plus 8. Now, final answer, y is equal to 3x plus 8 over x minus 4. Okay? So, ang inverse ng ating function h of x is ganito isulat. H raised to negative 1, x is equal to 3x plus 8 all over x minus 4. Okay, that will be the final answer. Okay po. So now let us give the inverse function of each of the following. Okay. Pag ganito, madali lang makuha, no? By inspection lang. Okay, mental na lang, no? X plus 2, ano ba kabaliktaran or inverse ng plus or addition? That is subtraction. So, ang sagot na agad, negative f raised to negative 1 of x That is x minus 2. Okay, pinalitan lang natin yung sign. Okay po. Next, g of x is equal to 12x minus 1. So, kaya pa ba? Kayang i-inspection by inspection or mental? Okay. So, katulad ng ginawa kanina, okay, i-mental natin. So, from the rightmost, dito muna tayo magsimula. So, nakakita tayo ng minus sign or subtraction. So, magiging siyang positive. Okay, wag muna natin intindihin si 12 kasi multiplication yan. Ito muna tayo sa pinakakanan. So, x minus 1 magiging x plus 1. Eh si 12 at saka si x multiplication. Inverse ng multiplication is addition. Thus, magiging division. So, x plus 1 all over 12. And that is already the inverse of g of x. Okay, next. Negative x over 4. So, ang operation lang naman natin dito na involve ay division. Wala na pong iba, nagkaroon lang ng negative, pero hindi natin yon babaguhin. Dahil hindi siya, for this example, hindi siya operation. So, sign lang po yung negative. So, copy lang yung sign. H raised to negative 1 of x. That is equal to, copy nyo yung sign. Hindi babaguhin yung positive dahil hindi operation. X over 4, that is division. Now, so magiging siyang multiplication. Okay? So magiging negative 4 times x or negative 4x. For our next example, we have f of x is equal to x. So may operation po bang ginamit? So wala. May sign ba? So that is considered positive, no? So walang operation. Anong gagawin? Copy lang. So wala naman tayong nakitang plus, minus, times, or divide. So ang inverse ni f of x is equal to x is still x. So parehas lang. How about this? G of x is equal to 3x plus 5 all over 8. By inspection, pwede? Or mental? Kaya ba? Ang naunang operation or dulong operation na ginawa ay division. Okay, tama po ba? So that is g raised to negative 1 of x is equal to, okay? So yun na yung mamumultiply kay x. So huling ginawa ay division, so magiging multiplication na siya. 8 times x. Next na operation, c positive 5. Okay, magiging minus 5 yan. Kasi nga ang inverse ng plus ay minus. All over, okay, yung 3x multiplication yon. So si 3 magiging nasa baba. Madi-divide na siya. Okay po. So that is our answer. So representations na tayo of inverse functions.